The first time he saw her stranded on the side of the road, the rain was falling hard, turning the asphalt into a glistening mirror.
You look beautiful.
She was in a sleek black car, the kind only the wealthiest could afford, her high heels soaked and her perfectly styled hair clinging to her face. Young and nervous, Alex wiped his greasy hands on his overalls as he stepped out from under the small awning of his modest auto shop. Most people passed by without a second glance, but something about her trembling hands and frustrated sigh made him pause. He had grown up fixing cars in his father's small garage, dreaming of something bigger, yet never imagining he'd one day meet someone like her on a rainy afternoon. "Flat tire?" he asked gently, squinting through the rain. She looked up, startled, as if she had been waiting for anyone to notice her struggle. "Yes. I don't know what to do. My phone battery is dead, and I can't get a tow in this weather." Alex smiled, trying to hide the sudden flutter in his chest. "I can fix it. Don't worry." What started as a simple act of help soon became an unexpected connection. He worked with careful precision, loosening the lug nuts and replacing the tire with the spare, all while chatting lightly to ease the tension. She introduced herself as Isabella, a woman who, despite her wealth, carried the loneliness of a life filled with obligations and expectations she never chose. And Alex, young and grounded, listened not just to her words but to the exhaustion beneath them, the weight of responsibility she bore in silence. By the time the tire was secure, her gratitude was more than polite, it was genuine. "I don't know how to thank you," she said, shivering in the damp rain, clutching her coat tighter. Alex shrugged, brushing the rain from his hair. "Just promise me you'll drive safely. That's enough." But neither of them expected what came next. A sudden clap of thunder startled a stray dog running into the road. Without thinking, Alex sprinted forward, scooping the terrified animal into his arms, shielding it from the storm. Isabella's eyes widened, admiration mingling with relief, and in that moment, the gap between their worlds seemed to vanish. They laughed through the rain, soaked to the bone, but for the first time that week, both felt alive. By the time they returned to the car, Isabella's phone was still dead, but she didn't reach for it. Instead, she looked at Alex with a smile that seemed to hold 1,000 unspoken words. "Would you like to have coffee with me? Just to warm up?" He hesitated, surprised that someone like her, wealthy, poised, and untouchable to most, was inviting him into her world. And yet, something about the way she asked, not as a boss, not as a socialite, but as a human being seeking comfort in a storm, melted any doubts he had. "Yes," he said, a little breathless, "I'd like that." That rainy afternoon became the first chapter of a story neither of them could have anticipated, a story about kindness, courage, and the unpredictable ways the heart chooses its own path. Coffee turned into long conversations, conversations into shared laughter, and slowly, a connection neither expected began to take root. Alex discovered that Isabella, despite her wealth, faced pressures and loneliness he had never imagined. She told him about board meetings that lasted hours, family expectations she couldn't escape, and a life that, from the outside, seemed perfect, but from the inside, was suffocating. And Alex, in his simple overalls and grease-stained hands, shared stories of his modest upbringing, the dreams of building something meaningful, and the quiet pride he took in helping people every day. It was during one of these afternoons that the real test of their bond arrived. Isabella's car broke down again, this time in the middle of a busy highway. Panic struck her as she realized the tow company would take hours, and she couldn't miss an important meeting. Without a second thought, Alex offered to fix it himself. He knew it was risky, he wasn't supposed to tinker with the car's advanced engine, but the thought of her stranded and stressed was unbearable. Hours passed, the sun dipped below the horizon, and the sky turned shades of pink and orange. Sweat mixed with oil on his hands, but he refused to stop until he got it running. And finally, as the engine roared to life, Isabella threw her arms around him, laughing with relief, tears in her eyes. "You really are amazing," she whispered. "No one has ever cared like this before." That night, they didn't just celebrate a fixed car, they celebrated trust, bravery, and the rare kind of connection that defies social boundaries. And as weeks turned into months, Alex and Isabella discovered that life's greatest surprises often came from the simplest acts of kindness. He showed her a world beyond boardrooms and luxury, while she reminded him that it was okay to dream bigger, to embrace love that seemed improbable but felt undeniable. The real turning point came one winter evening when Alex, shivering in the cold, offered Isabella his old wool coat after helping her change another tire during a sudden snowstorm. She looked at him, truly looked, and saw not just a mechanic, but a man whose heart was pure, whose courage and compassion could never be bought. In the months that followed, their story spread quietly through friends and neighbors, inspiring others with the simple truth: love is not about status, wealth, or appearances. It's about showing up, caring deeply, and never hesitating when someone needs you. And as Alex and Isabella stood together one snowy night, hands intertwined, they realized the storm that brought them together had also prepared them to face the world together. By the end, what had begun as a chance encounter over a flat tire had transformed into a life-changing journey for both. They had found not just love, but respect, trust, and the profound beauty of two hearts meeting at the exact right moment. And in that quiet, snowy street, they knew that the greatest fortune one could ever possess was not in money or status, but in a love that could weather any storm.